Today, we will be talking about something that many families and educators are concerned about. It is making its way into many schools across the country. I'm talking about critical race theory. Proponents suggest that this curriculum is needed, and it is intended to address long-standing racial issues in the country by informing children and helping them approach race from a better mental framework. Opponents suggest that it is an indoctrination method promoting specific social ideology into the minds of children, which will actually increase racial division. My guest today is Yesli Vega. Yesli Vega is a military wife, mother, former police officer, and a Prince William County Sheriff's deputy who has dedicated her life to public service. Born in Texas, Yesli moved with her family to Northern Virginia at the age of 5. It was here that Yesli's mother and father taught her the invaluable lessons of hard work, faith in God, and love for the greatest country on his green earth. Following a family tragedy, Yesli witnessed firsthand the impact that law enforcement and our first responders have in the service and protection of our local communities. Inspired by their heartfelt courage and thankful for keeping her family intact, Yesli made a commitment to give back and joined the Alexandria, Virginia Police Department and later the Manassas Park Police Department. As a patrol officer, Yesli found herself in various split-second life and death situations that our law enforcement faces every day. In addition to working the street beat, Yesli also became a field training officer, was a certified hostage negotiator, and a member of the crisis intervention team. In 2012, Yesli temporarily left the world of law enforcement to accompany her husband, Raina, a U.S. Army veteran, and their 2 children during his deployment in South Korea. In addition to her career in law enforcement, Yesli has served the Prince William community as a member to at-risk youth through the Cal Ripken Foundation's Badge for Baseball program. She has also coached her daughter's youth soccer teams at Northern Virginia Soccer Club, volunteered with Special Olympics and Santa Cops. Yesli is a graduate of American Military University and the Northern Virginia Criminal Justice Academy. So, welcome, Yesli. Thank you for joining us today to talk about what's going on in your community.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, and delighted that you can be with us. So let me just ask you some questions here and talk to us a little bit. So you live in Prince William County, Virginia, right?
That's correct.
All right. For our listeners who don't know anything about Prince William County, could you share some information about its location, the population, racial demographics, mean income, or anything like that, just to give people perspective on your community?
Sure. Prince William County is a suburb of Washington, D.C. in Northern Virginia. Over the last several decades, it has been steady to explosive population growth due to our proximity to D.C. and the job market. We'll likely cross 500,000 people in the next decade or so. Right now, we're currently around 470,000 citizens, which makes us the largest jurisdiction in the Commonwealth of Virginia next to our neighbors in Fairfax County. A lot of people come here for jobs. Prince William County is a great place to live, to work, to raise a family, and depending where your listeners live, they may not know this, but I believe that 7 or 8 out of the 20th wealthiest counties in the United States, and they're here in the Washington, D.C. metro area, and Prince William County is part of that top 20 nationally. So most folks here are doing pretty well compared to the rest of the country. A lot of people say that D.C. is a recession-proof area simply because of the size of the federal government and all of the jobs it contributes to. The area has certainly seen its downturns as well, but typically not quite as bad as other parts of the country, and now, having to deal with COVID and finally starting to see, the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. In terms of demographics, we're a majority minority county. I believe we were actually the first county and may still be the only county in Virginia that is. We'll learn more about that, of course, as the census numbers come out, but I think that it'll probably shake out around a little more than 40% white, 25% Hispanic, 20% Black, and 10% Asian. So again, a very very diverse county. A lot of people from all over the world come here, mainly because of the job market, as I mentioned earlier, and because Prince William County is such a beautiful county, and again, a great place to live.
Wow, sounds like quite a place. I've been up there a number of times, and certainly lots going on in Prince William County. And so, what really brought us together? I tracking what's going on in education across the country, and some things going on, of course, in Northern Virginia, and I always look for, what are the people saying? What are the parents
Mhm.
saying? The community response and so forth, and whether it's good or bad or indifferent. And I've noticed that you, along with others from your community, have recently gotten much more involved in your community and actually giving your school board some pushback here through social media and through other means. Tell us about what's going on in your school district.
So until the last 10, 15 years, Prince William County was pretty reliably Republican, conservative county, even at the federal level. But as you know, and as we've seen across our nation, with the population explosion that we've experienced, that has changed drastically, and it's impacted things for us here politically also. We now have a Democrat-controlled school board, and it has been that way since about 2015. And they just took over the slimmest of margins on the Board of County Supervisors in 2019, which is where I serve. And along with that, they always say elections have consequences, and absolutely they do have consequences, and we're now starting to see what those consequences are. A few years ago, like many localities, that tend to have Democrat leadership, we've had the debate over transgender bathrooms here. I wasn't on the board at the time, but it was certainly something that created a lot of contention in our school division and in the community. Fast forward a few years later, and now, the left's cause of the day, after they kept the schools shut down for a year, is dividing us along lines of race. And it's something that I personally do not believe in, will never believe in it. And I, along with several other parents here in Prince William County, are taking a stand to this.